categories of self-love that we can sort of break things down into to really help us determine if all of our needs in the self-love topic are being met. So we might be meeting a lot of our needs in a physical category, but maybe not getting the social category. And so when we can really acknowledge and live really intentional within the 5 categories, and when we're doing things within those 5 categories to help improve our self-love, then we can really be more well-rounded. We can really be giving ourselves the support that we really need to thrive when it comes to self-love. So the categories are physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, and social. If one of these categories is lacking, we might not really be supporting ourselves as well as we are trying to, or as well as we think we are. And it can be really easy to lose track of the different categories, or to pour way too much energy into one category and have the other ones be lacking in some way, which then sort of will deplete ourselves instead of building it up. And it's normal for one area to just come easier, or to be able to do more in one of the topics. But we don't want to neglect the other categories as well. So for physical, when we talk about physical self-love, that is just doing what we need to physically, for our physical bodies, for our physical well-being. So living healthy, balanced lives. Are you getting, enough sleep, around 8 hours of sleep? Are you exercising multiple times a week, preferably at least once a day, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes? Are you decluttering your house? Like, how is your physical area and your physical space? Are you eating healthy and feeding yourself nutritious food? Are you feeding your body? So those are some of the examples of physical self-love. Are we nurturing ourselves in a physical way and within our physical space? Do we have what we need? Do we have stability and foundation? Do we have stability within a physical space? If we're living in our car and we don't know where we're going to be sleeping, we don't have those physical needs met. The next is emotional. So if you are emotionally supporting yourself, if you are giving yourself the emotional needs, if your emotional needs are being met. So that could be holding space for yourself. That could be being around pets, journaling, crying, and allowing yourself to release. So are you emotionally supporting yourself? Mentally, so the mental is the next category. Are you mentally supporting yourself? Are you doing things that you're passionate about that also help with your brain productivity and functionality? Are you reading? Are you studying topics that you're really interested in? Are you helping your intellect grow in some way? Watching Netflix doesn't, unless you're watching some really stimulating documentaries that are teaching you, then, just zoning out and scrolling and being, on Netflix is not mentally supporting yourself in any way. We can almost feel like our brains are losing their intellect and feeling like dumbed down, or feeling like zombies. So you want to make sure mentally you're giving yourself the support that you need. Socially, and that's become a lot more difficult since 2020 for a lot of people. We're doing all this isolation, we're doing all this self-care, and for the first time, a lot of people are giving themselves alone time that they really needed, that they never got before. But everything has to be in balance, and human beings are social creatures. We do need other human beings to be able to really thrive. Otherwise, we could experience depression, heart disease, a number of physical, emotional, mental issues if we're not giving ourselves the social self-love. And so that could be spending time with friends and family, real time, not Zoom, not computer, not over a screen. It has to be done in person. And so spending time with friends and family in person with them, doing volunteer work, setting healthy boundaries for yourself, giving yourself that balance of social and independence, or alone time. But we do need that social aspect, and that is becoming more evident than ever as we're sort of forced into having less of that person-on-person time. Spiritual support, that's another really important one. So are you doing your morning rituals and practices? And that can almost fit into multiple categories. That could be physical if you're doing things like yoga. That could be emotional, like doing things like journaling. That can be mental if you're reading, affirmations or reading about different spiritual topics. And that could be social if you're doing things like group meditations. So your morning rituals and practices can really help support a number of these needs, but especially the spiritual. Are you growing your intuition? Are you doing meditation or group meditations? Do you have like-minded community? Are you doing some oracle card readings for yourself? So how are you spiritually supporting yourself as well? So it's really important to look at all of the categories and make sure that you are supporting yourself in a number of different ways. Again, it can be very easily to just dive into our spiritual needs and neglect our physical needs. We're not getting enough exercise. Maybe we're not eating enough or eating good enough foods. It can be easy to sort of assume, since you're practicing one category really well, let's say again spirituality, that means your emotional needs are getting met, and that isn't always the case. So we really want to love ourselves in a very whole way, and understanding how you can do that from a viewpoint of filling in the 5 categories in your life for your self-love and your self-care can be a very intentional, focused way of doing it, and understanding what your needs are and where you might be neglecting yourself in some of the areas. So go through, look at what in your lifestyle is supportive of your physical, emotional, mental, social, and spiritual needs. And if there's one area that you are lacking in, try your best to start really being intentional and focused in that area so you can support yourself in a very holistic way.